It's the first double game week of the season. Is it time to activate the triple captaincy or the assistant manager chip? Welcome to the Gianni show. Hope you guys are well. This is your ultimate chip strategy guide. And if you're going to watch one piece of content this week on my channel, make sure it's this episode. Do not go anywhere. We're going to go through all the blanks and the doubles and where they could possibly land. We're going to go through assistant manager options. And we're going to talk about chip strategy throughout from now to the end of the season where they could all fit. So don't go anywhere and stay tuned. I just want to start this video by saying you've still got your triple captaincy chip. I think it's a very, very good play on Mo Salah this week. I think you probably do it. I don't have my triple captain chip and I'm exploring the assistant manager chip in game week 24. But before we even talk what chips to be played on what game week, let's just have a look at the state of play. And if you're enjoying the show, likes and subscribes would be really, really welcome. Thank you guys for supporting the channel with your subs. I'm going to go through all the potential blanks and doubles. I'm not going to talk about every game week, just the doubles and singles, doubles and blanks. So game week 24, we know is a double for Everton and Liverpool, right? We'll talk about that later because that involves assistant manager chip. 25 could be a double. It was rated 15% chance by Ben Crellin, who's the master at predicting fixtures. And Ben's a good friend of mine. Ben said 15% chance that there's a double game week for both Fulham and Spurs. This was a couple of weeks ago before Spurs beat Hoffenheim in the Europa League. That 15% is probably more like 25% now. It's still unlikely, but there's a chance it happens. Now, this is big because if it happens, boy, does it take your thinking from triple captaincy in 24 to assistant manager in 24. Because if you're getting a double in 25 and 24, that is huge for the best chip in the game. So that could happen if Spurs finish top 8 of the Europa League, which looks like they're going to do that now. They play on Thursday night. But they also need to beat Liverpool in the EFL Cup semi-final. And if both those things happen, there's a good chance that Spurs get a double in 25, but they've got to beat Liverpool and they've got to hope luck is on their side with the Premier League fixture scheduling. And it could happen purely because of congestion later in the season. They'll see that fixture can't take place in game week 29 because Spurs are in the EFL Cup final and they'll put it at the nearest available opportunity of game week 25. That's what Ben thinks could happen. Game week 29 is a big blank. I say big blank. It's a blank for 4 teams, but it's 4 very relevant FPL teams. 2 fixtures will be wiped, and it's the 2 fixtures that involve the 2 teams that reach the EFL Cup final. Game week 29, same as the EFL Cup final. So, this is from the bookies odds. Johnny C has worked it out. Bet365 odds. He says Arsenal versus Chelsea, 15% likely to blank. That's because Arsenal are trailing Newcastle, and the second leg is at St James's Park. The bookies say Newcastle win that game. So 15% likely to blank Arsenal-Chelsea. So you haven't got to worry if you've got Arsenal and Chelsea players. But you might look at game week, you might look at Newcastle-Palace and go, oh, I've got loads of them. And if Arsenal-Chelsea is on, it means Newcastle-Palace is off. So Newcastle versus Palace is 85% likely to be a blank. We should assume that that's going to be a blank game week for Newcastle and Palace. Now, I've got 3 players in those 2 teams. The other semi-final is between Spurs and Liverpool. Now, this is in the balance because Spurs are 1-0 up, but now they get to Anfield and we've seen the Spurs form. So the bookies have Liverpool at favourites, but only slight favourites. They've got it 58-42. So they say Fulham versus Spurs is 42% likely to blank, which means Aston Villa-Liverpool is 58% likely to blank. Now, if Aston Villa-Liverpool is a blank, that's 4 players for me. And I've got 3 players in Newcastle-Palace. Straight away, I'm looking at 7 players out of the mix in 29. You might immediately think, is that a week to use your free hit? It doesn't look brilliant for a free hit. That's the problem. We'll get back to that later in the show, which might mean you need to be accumulating transfers. If you're accumulating transfers, you can sell these players before game week 29. You probably don't want to be using assistant manager chip transfers too. So let's bear that in mind. Double game week 33 will be the teams that blank in 29. So let's assume Aston Villa, Liverpool, Newcastle, Palace, they'll all get doubles, and of course some of their opponents too. So 33 will be a big double. 34 will be a blank because it's the FA Cup semi-finals. We don't know who's going to be in the semis yet. Like, we're still way off predicting that. That's tricky to predict. Now, the teams that blank in 34 will double in 36. So let's say 4 big teams get to the semis. They're all Premier League teams. Well, they then double in 36, and of course their opponents too, potentially. So that's what we know. This season, probably fewer big doubles and big blanks, right? We know we're getting one in 24 because of the storm a few months ago that cancelled the Merseyside derby, postponed the Merseyside derby. And 29 is a blank, 34 is a blank, but 33 and 36 are doubles. Now, we want to use our best chips around these. Of course we do. The best chip in the game, make no mistake, is the assistant manager chip. So let's talk a little bit about that assistant manager chip, shall we? Because the ceiling for the assistant manager chip, we know if you worked it out last year, you went on a manager like Glasner in a double game week at the end of the season, Glasner would have got something like 65 points. The ceiling's massive. No one gets 65 points extra from triple captain or from bench boost or from free hit. It's unlikely. But we do see that ceiling with the assistant manager chip. I want to give a shout out to OneFootball. Guys, OneFootball lives on the home screen of my phone. I'm literally on it day and night for my football news. Whether you want Premier League news or European football news, it's all there. Press conference quotes, transfer speculation, stats from games, but also video clips from games. If you just want to see the goals in the Premier League, you go onto the fixture, you get a 2-minute highlight package. It's perfect. Guys, if you're not already on OneFootball, it's a free football app. It should live on the home screen of your phone. Get downloading now. You won't regret it. It's my favourite football app. It always has been, way before they sponsored this YouTube channel. So thank you guys, as always, for your support. So you've got to pick the best week you think to use the assistant manager chip. Now, if you think that's game week 24, it's worth considering, because I think to get those big scores, well, we know, I don't think I know, to get the big scores with the assistant manager chip, you need to activate the bonus. You need to get the 10 bonus for achieving a victory over a team 5 places or more above you, or even a draw where you get a 5 bonus for drawing against a team 5 places above you at the start of the game week in the Premier League table than you. So we don't want to be backing. I don't, because I'm chasing anyway. I don't want to be putting it on Slot. I don't want to be putting it on Espirito Santo. I don't want to be putting it on Arteta or Maresca. I want to get mid-table teams or lower to mid-table teams that I know can activate that bonus. So it's 6 points for a win or 16 for a win if you get the bonus. It's 3 for a draw or 8 for a draw if you draw against a team 5 places above you. If you score a goal, you get +1 and clean sheets +2. So if we're looking at 24, let's just have a look at David Moyes. Moyes needs our respect because he's come in and we've seen back-to-back victories against Spurs. Looks like that's relatively easy to do at the minute, but against Spurs it was convincing, and they've gone to Brighton and won. Now that was impressive. To go to Brighton and win was impressive. Now I wasn't massively struck by that Brighton performance for Everton. Like, they got a penalty. That was their only big chance of the game. But they went there and did it. And fair play to them. Brighton's not an easy place to go. So we look at game week 24. And Leicester and Liverpool, both home. A win against Leicester sees Moyes get 6 points. But a draw against Liverpool is an 8. The bonus could be activated. They could beat Liverpool and then it's huge. Now, I don't know if that happens, but if it does, it could be absolutely massive. You've got to be in the mix. So 24 is an option for Moyes. I just want to speak about Leicester, though, before I run through the other options in this chart. And guys, thank you for your likes and subscribes. I really appreciate that. I was thinking going into Sunday, Leicester's a really good fixture. Leicester have just beaten Spurs, and this is the XG plot from the game between the posts to highlight this really well. Like, Leicester were the better team. They deserved like 1.2 XG to 1.4. They were the slightly better team. A draw could have been the fair result, but maybe Leicester are slightly better than we think, or maybe Spurs are really bad. But it's called me a little bit on Everton. I'm like, oh, that home fixture for Everton is no gimme. I expect them still to win. In game week 25, they play Palace. Again, there's no bonus there. I don't love it. And in 26, Man United probably won't be a bonus. So if I went Moyes in 24, I would swap. I'd use one of my transfers on a manager. And if I did that, I like very much Silva of Fulham. Because you go to Marco Silva of Fulham, and yes, you don't get the Newcastle away game. I don't think I'd go there. It's a single game week. But game week 25, what you could get with Fulham, you could get a possible double game week versus Spurs, which we've already spoken about, based on Spurs. I rate that about 25%, maybe 20%, based on Spurs beating Liverpool and then the Premier League scheduling that game earlier. If that happens in 25, you get Fulham for a double game week. The other fixture is Forest at home. Now, that is a good fixture. One, that should get you bonus. If it doesn't get you bonus, I won't do it. But at the moment, there's 5 places between them in the table. That should get you bonus. Let's see if it does by the time this comes around. Although we won't know by 24 because we'd have committed. I expect that will get you bonus if Fulham win. If Fulham beat Forest, just like Bournemouth did, it's 16 big ones before you even take into account the goals. So it's more than 16 because they'll have to score to win. If we look at the XG plot on screen now, we can see Bournemouth convincingly beat Forest. Yes, it was 5-0, but look at the XG. It was a one-sided game. I think Fulham aren't as good as Bournemouth, but they're not far off. Fulham could do this to Forest too, and if they do, that is a brilliant assistant manager chip to be used on Silva for Fulham, double game week or not. And if you've had Moyes in the double, you're looking at an opportunity here where you go, opportunity for bonus for Moyes against Liverpool, opportunity for bonus for Silva against Forest, and possibly a second game. It would be 4 games in 2. And then in game week 26, you could move to another manager. Or you could stick with Silva, who plays Palace at home. There won't be the bonus there to beat Crystal Palace, but you could go, that's a good home fixture for Fulham, or use a transfer on it. Now, if you use a transfer on it, game week 26 doesn't have any obvious options to go, brilliant bonus option. Let's look at these game week 26 fixtures on screen now. Friday night kickoff for Leicester Brentford. That's probably your best bet for the bonus in terms of realistic chance and matchup. Brentford aren't the best away, although they've just beaten Palace away. And Leicester maybe are slightly better. I don't know if I love it. I don't want to back Van Nistelrooy on a assistant manager, I don't think. But you look at the other fixtures, you don't get the bonus. Everton United won't come with a bonus. I don't see West Ham beating Arsenal. Bournemouth Wolves, I can't see Wolves winning. Fulham Palace, no bonus. Ipswich Spurs, no bonus. Southampton Brighton, maybe a bonus, but I don't really want to be going there. Villa Chelsea, probably no bonus. Newcastle Forest, no bonus. And City Liverpool, no bonus. So I don't think I love game week 26, but if 25's great and 24's great, 26 you could take a punt or you just stick with Silva. That's where I'm at anyway. I'll let you know in my team video later this week what I'm doing. I need more time to think about it. This is reacting to the game week just gone straight away with what we've seen by teams like Forest and Leicester. And of course Everton. I needed Everton to beat Brighton and they've gone and done that, which means I'm definitely thinking about using it on Moyes. So look, that's where we're at with the assistant manager chip. I hope you're following. I know this video is slightly different to what I usually do, but I've gone through what assistant manager in 24 could look like. Of course, you could go on a slot. I don't think you should, but you could go on a slot. I think you should go triple Liverpool in terms of players. Get Gakpo in for Salah and Trent. And of course, you can't have the assistant manager plus 3 players. The assistant manager is one of your 3 from that team. I think you go triple captain Salah if you got him. But of course, if we think we're going to get a double in 25, or you're happy to risk that, the assistant managership in 24 and 5 would be wicked. It really would be. And I'm close. Now, let's look at the different chip combinations or where we could use our chips this season. So I want to take you back to that state of play chart so we can see where the doubles and blanks are. Now, there are too many chips for many of us, and there are double game weeks. We have to use some of the chips, including wildcard, second wildcard, on non-double or blank game weeks. Now, what I'm thinking I'll do, top line, is whether I use assistant manager or not in 24, I think I'll probably end up ending my team to game week 29. When we look at blank game week 29, it doesn't strike me as a free hit week. Now, sure, we know there's going to be, we can see on screen, there's going to be lots of teams, 4 teams not playing. Now, those 4 teams could be big FPL teams. For me, Villa, Liverpool, Newcastle, Palace, that's 7 players not playing. I'm going to have to use transfers on them. And I think I'm willing to do that because I don't think I want to use my free hit in 29. Guys, if you are enjoying the show, by the way, hit me up with your support. The subs and the likes would be really welcome. Let's look at the game week 29 fixtures, shall we? Don't love them for free hit. Like, Arsenal play Chelsea. You'd steer away from both those teams. You could stack up on Man United versus Leicester. City versus Brighton, but you might buy these players. Don't love the matchups for Liverpool Villa. It's a tough fixture. Spurs Fulham, tough fixture. Doesn't, like, you look at who's got Ipswich, who's got Southampton, and both those teams are at home for starters, which isn't great. Who's got Leicester? And all those 3 newly promoted teams, the teams you want to target, are all at home against teams that I don't love for FPL at the moment. If they're all away against top teams, straight away you go, yeah, let's go there. Look, Forest are a top team, or have been, but I don't back them for loads of goals against Ipswich. So 29 doesn't strike me as a free hit week. So if we're not going 29, where are we going? It's too early to say. Honestly, I could give you all the options. I don't think we need to worry about it. I don't think I need to tell you. You could wildcard in 32 and bench boost in 33, and then you could free hit in 34 and assistant manager in 36. That, by the way, is what the template is at the moment. A wildcard in 30, 31, 32, off the back of a dead ending our team in 29. 33 your bench boost. 34 is a blank, therefore you can free hit in 34, knowing full well the teams that don't play in 34 will double in 36. You want them in your team. You're not going to have a team that's set up for 34 and 36. You need to probably free hit in one of those weeks. That's probably what I end up doing, but it's too early to think about it. Until we know about the doubles in 33, the blanks in 34, and we'll know based on the FA Cup, we'll know around game week in the next few weeks. We hold fire. So that's where I'm at. My big decision is, do I hit the assistant manager chip this week? And I think I might. I don't know. I'd say I'm probably a coin toss. I'm probably 50-50. I need a little bit more time. Now, you could use your assistant manager chip in 36, which will be great. Because at the end of the season, you're going to have loads of potentially more free transfers to use on your players and on your managers. And I think that's a good play. But I also think 24 for Moyes and then to Silva could be a good play as well. You could use triple captain in 33 because Mo Salah will probably be playing Leicester and Aston Villa in a double game week. That's good too, but I think triple captain might be better now. Get it out the way and use a better chip in 33 like a bench boost, but off the back of a wild card in 32, 1 or 30. I know I've rambled through. I'm trying to make it quick. Guys, thank you for your support. I will do another video on chip strategy when we know more. This was more about assistant manager chip and about triple captain chip right here, right now in 24. I hope I've presented enough for you to think about doing it or not. Make your own decisions, but come by and see my team selection video where I'll talk more about my decisions this week. Guys, thank you for watching. On your way out, do like and subscribe. I've had a wine or two this evening, you may be able to tell. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.